Happy Monday! So excited to share a 12 weeks of Christmas video with you. So I'm starting today with the Snowflake card die, the framelit one that you'll see. And I've just pre-cut it on a piece of soft sky cardstock. So I just take a piece of 12 by 12. It's fine. I find at least I can get 4 out of it then. Now the next thing I'm going to do is kind of a fun trick. So you'll notice a lot of cards have a snowflake over the front that matches up with a little cutout here. And people were asking how it happened. So I'm going to give you a quick little video here. So if you look and you take your piece of cardstock and you place it over top of that snowflake, which is what I'm going to do now. And I'm going to put this on without jiggling everything and moving it around. And I'm just going to crank that through my Big Shot. Okay, sorry, I know you got jiggled there. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull it out of the actual framelit. Just it comes out a bit funny just because you've got all the bits and pieces. But all I'm going to do now, and I'm making sure you can see here, is I'm going to reline it up. I can get rid of that, it's not important. I'm going to reline it up so that the parts that weren't cut before get cut now. So what I want to do is take the parts that were in the non-cut spot before, and I'm just going to reline these up. There we go, tuck that guy in. So basically, if my paper had been a bit bigger and square, what I would have done was basically just turn that piece of white cardstock 90 degrees. So I'm going to crank him back out the other side. And then what you'll see that I've got now is that lovely snowflake that fits exactly onto my card front once I've done my folding, and it'll fit perfect. Okay, so now I've got the snowflake component and I've got some of my shimmer paper. So now I'm going to take that, and I've also got the little burr. Now I didn't poke all my bits out. I might not cut properly, but we'll give it a go. I find that this paper comes out of the framelit so much easier than regular cardstock does. If you try and do this little snowflake part, especially with Whisper White, the paper's so thin in comparison that it actually doesn't seem to even cut, or it does cut it, but you can't get it out. And then when you cut it out, because it's such an intricate design, it tears it. So it comes out of here so beautifully. And you can see me kind of popping it out here. Not a lot of effort involved. I'm just taking it out to make sure I don't tear it. So I've got that, and I'll set that aside with my other pieces that I've got ready. And then I'll take my, let's see how this one did. Little burr. Now I'm going to need to get my paper piercer to get this one out, so I'm going to go do that. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that snowflake that I punched out, and then I'm going to use the letterpress stamp set that has a coordinating stamp set that goes with it, and see how I can now, because it's the photopolymer, I can actually line up. I'm going to try and do the best here without getting my head in the shot, over top. And I'll pull him off. And so now I've got that beautiful snowflake. And then I'm going to take my soft sky ink, and I'm going to take the smaller snowflake. And I know I'm getting it on my black. I don't normally stamp on my black, but for the just stamping on that white part that you saw me do, it works so much better if you have a contrast color below it to work with, because you can actually see where you're lining it up. Okay, so that looks done. And then the next part I'm going to do is I've got, I know I totally cheated here. I've got my snowflake that I did. Then I have got the silver snowflake that I did. So I'm just going to use a simple glue dot here. Okay, and I'm going to slide this up so you can actually see it in the shot. Ta-da. Then the next one I'm going to use, this is actually from this month's Paper Pumpkin kit. So cute. But I loved it, so I'm going to throw it in here too. And then I'm going to use my paper piercer, and I'm going to grab one of the rhinestones. This was in November's Paper Pumpkin kit as well. And so now all that I have left to do as far as the card base goes is I'm just going to follow, the lines are already in it, they're already creased, I just have to follow them. And I'm going to do the scoring here, okay? And let me just grab my dimensionals. Okay, so now using my dimensionals, I'm actually just going to sneak onto here And I'm going to add those to the back. I apologize if all of a sudden you hear my husband calling me for dinner here, sneaking this video in quickly. I also cut out one of the banners. This is from that same Snowflake die, the framelit set. So you've got a huge selection in that set of some great kind of objects to go in. There to the little piece at the bottom. And then I have my little burr that I cut out of the silver. And so then I'm just gonna put, using my silicone mat, great way to get adhesive on the back of something small like this. And I'm gonna center him on here. I'm gonna pull off a couple more little rhinestones. Okay. And then I'm going to use my snail just one more time. I'm only going to snail that left-hand side of my banner because I want it to kind of hang over top, just like that. And then you can see now, hopefully I lined mine up okay. Because I was using dimensionals, it keeps it a bit high, so it can make it a bit harder to turn. But you can see there, there are my cards that I've made with that same die, and I just used the dimensionals and popped them up. It's kind of cool. You get that 2 layers. So not a hard card to make, but definitely a stunning card to make. Now it's kind of weird because the angle of the camera, but it's got a lot of shimmer to it, especially when you've got that pretty snowflake on it and the burr. Have an awesome day. I hope you enjoyed this project.